I'm Harry Buck, and I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. This event is sponsored by the Brandon Valley Journal and by the Brandon Valley Area Chamber of Commerce. We're here tonight to visit with 5 people that have stepped up and offered to serve on our Brandon Valley School Board. And I want to congratulate all 5 of you for stepping up. I think they say that a big part of leadership is just showing up, and you people are showing up, and I sincerely appreciate it. And the reason that I'm going to be the mediator tonight, or moderator tonight, is that I'm serve on the Chamber of Commerce Issues Committee, and generally one of the things that we do as an Issues Committee as a chamber is to sponsor events like this for City Council. We've done several over the years. We've also done some for the state legislature, and also over the years we've always had coffee with the legislators in January and February. So it's kind of the thing that the chamber does in an effort to keep ourselves up to speed with what's going on, and to serve from a communication standpoint with the public. Tonight we have, we're honored really to have 5 people that have offered to serve on the school board. And there are 2 seats available on the school board for the election coming up. I'll introduce them. To my right is Greg Odie. Greg is an incumbent, has served on the school board for a while. Next to me on my right is Dave Howard. On my left is Dan Klumper. Next to Dan is Stacy Long, and next to Stacy is Adam Punt. And so, as I mentioned, there are 2 seats available, and we get to choose. And so, tonight we're going to, sort of the format for this event will be that we'll ask each candidate to give us some opening remarks, 2 minutes. Kim Serwick is the timekeeper, and believe me, she'll keep you informed. She's good at it. Then we're going to ask just 2 or 3 prepared questions that Kim and Jill came up with, and then we'll open it up for other questions. We'd like, though, if you're going to ask a question from the group here, that you maybe write it down and give it to Jill in the back of the room, and she'll kind of take care of organizing that. Okay, I think with that, we'll go ahead and get started. And I'd like to ask each of the candidates to give us a couple minutes for their opening remarks. All you need to do is push the button here and you can talk, and we'll just start to my right with Greg.
Okay. I want to make a special thanks to the Brandon Valley Chamber of Commerce and the Brandon Valley Journal for hosting this event this evening. And also you folks out here in the audience that are here tonight taking some precious time away from family to see what the candidates have to share, as well as those that will be watching it through Alliance in the next coming days. First off, I'll give you a little brief briefing about my life history. I'm a lifelong resident of this district. I was educated here all 12 years. I didn't go to kindergarten. I went 1 through 12. I graduated in 1975. I then went to South Dakota State University, and in 1979 I graduated with a BS degree in dairy science in the production area. At that time I returned home after graduation and joined our family operation in our dairy operation with my brother and my father. And in 1980, I married my wife Jane of 38 years, and we have 2 kids, Alex and Elizabeth. They both graduated from Brandon, and now they reside in the district as well. I also do have 1 granddaughter. She's 1.5 years old, and her name's Ava. So, thank you.
Okay.
So do I get his extra minute?
There you go. Dave Howard.
Thanks to everyone who's participating tonight. Thanks to everyone that's participating tonight. It's It's amazing. We have 5 here, and I understand it's been 10 plus years since there's been a competitive race. And I don't see it as a competition. I just see people stepping up saying, I volunteer. And I've done that quite a bit in my life, and I'm learning from it too. And I bring that wealth of knowledge of volunteering. I think it just comes from my roots, growing up in a farm community out in central South Dakota, running a hardware store, working in an implement business and farming. And so I just had a wealth of experience from that background, from the ag background. And then I got the privilege of going to South Dakota State, which was exciting, something new for a small town kid. Met a lot of great people, had opportunities, and then I was a commissioned officer in the Army. My wife and I both, we met in Brookings. She was in Minnesota as a milkmaid, but she isn't here, I can say that. But she was an officer too. So we've traveled the world. We've done a lot of different jobs and budgets and leadership and working with teams. And once I stepped out of the military, I worked in the financial industry and services industry and learned what's important to people. You know, you got core values, and then you have that financial side of the house is really important to people. And if you don't have, or you're not in tune to that, which we are managing budgets here to do our best job on educating our students, and it's a passion. So I feel I have the time now to be able to put into this and follow people like Greg that's been here to say, hey, how can we make things better? Is there something we were thinking outside? Can we think outside the box? So I look forward to the opportunity of that. I encourage everyone to come out and vote on the 19th of June. And I thank again the Journal and the Chamber of Commerce for hosting us tonight. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. We'll move to my left and Dan Klumper.
Good evening, everyone. So I know what you're all thinking. You're thinking he's wearing a boot to get sympathy votes. And I'm just telling you, it's not the case. It's a legitimate injury. So I'm excited to be here with everyone, and I'm excited to have you here, and excited to talk some education. So currently, I'm an instructor in the College of Education at Dakota State University. So I'm totally immersed in the educational world. Prior to that, I was an instructional coach with the Sioux Falls School District, working with teachers. And then prior to that, I taught 9 years at Brandon Valley Middle School, social studies. My wife and our 3 kids have been here for 12 years. She is a 5th grade ELA teacher at Brandon Valley Intermediate School. And I'm really excited for the opportunity. It's something I've thought about ever since I moved on in my educational journey. And I'm excited to see what happens. And I'm excited to hear what we all have to say about education and have some good discussion. So thanks for coming, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. We'll move on to Stacy.
Hi, good evening. First, I want to thank Kim from the Chamber and for Jill for the Brandon Valley Journal by putting this on tonight. Should be fun and informative. I can't wait to hear what everyone has to say about what they can bring to the Brandon Valley School Board. My name is Stacy Logigan. I've been a resident of Brandon for 19 years. I'm married to my biggest supporter, Todd, for 25 years. We have 3 beautiful children. We have Becca, who's a 22. She's going to be a senior at SDSU, going to finish up her nursing major in the fall. Emily is going to be going to SDSU. She'll be a sophomore. And then we have Jenna, who is going to be a junior in the high school. I have been involved with the school district ever since my kids started school in Brandon. You name it, I probably have done it. Ask my
It's a little bit of what I bring to the table. So I want to thank everybody for coming tonight and appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. We'll get started now with some questions that have been prepared by the Journal and by the Chamber. And the first question, and I think that we'll kind of change this up and we'll start with you, Mr. Klump. So let's, Klumper, excuse me. The first question that we have is, what motivates you to want to become a board member, and what particular skills or experience qualify you to serve on the school board?
Thank you. So something that I've thought a lot about. I'm highly motivated to make an impact in education, and my whole life is devoted to education and making sure it is solid and making sure students are reaching their full potential and being empowered and they have a voice. Okay, so I feel like being a school board member in Brandon Valley is another opportunity for me to make an impact and keep working towards my goal of being an impactful educator. My kids go to school in this district, but that is certainly not the only reason why I want to be a school board member. I want to be back in the districts. I really enjoyed my time here and have missed it since I've left. I really like where I'm at, but I really like being in Brandon and in the schools. And so I want to get back into the school district. I want to do what I can to help, because I do feel like I have some unique skills and experiences that will help me be a valuable board member. I worked with middle school kids as a teacher. I worked with college students, undergrads. Now in Dakota State, I worked with administrators as an instructional coach for Sioux Falls School District. So I feel like I have all of these lenses that I can look through and these various perspectives that I've seen and developed over the years that I can be a very relatable person to any part of the school district. And so I'm excited that I have the opportunity, and I'm looking forward to hopefully making impact with Brandon Valley School District. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Dan. We'll move over to Stacy Long, and the same question, Stacy, what motivates you to want to become a board member, and what particular skills or experiences qualify you to serve on the school board?
All right, thanks, Harry. What motivated me to become want to be a board member is that I just love this district. All of my girls have had such wonderful experiences and such a wonderful education in this town. So I always want to make sure that every student that goes to Brandon Valley has the same exact kind of experiences and education that my daughters did. My years of volunteering and in the schools and my employment with the district, I think, gives me experiences and knowledge that you'll need to be a successful board member. I feel that I formed really great bonds with the teachers. I'm good friends with a lot of teachers. I feel that they could come to me comfortably if they had any concerns or issues with the curriculums, with their jobs, things like that. I want to be a voice. One of my major things, I want to be a voice for our teachers and our administrators, and certainly our children. So thank you.
Okay, thanks, Stacy. We'll move on over to Adam Punk. Then Adam, the same question. What motivates you to become a board member, and what are your particular skills?
Yeah, just that service attitude, something to give back. The same thing, that Stacy alluded to, a love of the district. I think it is a very well-run district, and I originally ran more or less what I would call sustaining that excellence, and that's really I believe that service is truly a turn-taking experience, and I'm willing to take a turn and willing to serve, and I'm at a point in my life right now where this works for me, and that's what motivated me to run, to give back a little bit, to have that impact, to be a good decision maker for the district. I kind of hit on the skills already a little bit, but some of that fiscal appropriation, I do have an education degree, and just the willingness to kind of be there and to step up and serve all the time. These are the skills that I have. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. We'll move over to Greg. Greg Odie, incumbent. Why in the world do you want to keep doing this?
That's what everybody says. Why did I want to do it? Well, we're going to have to go back 12 years ago. 12 years ago is when I first ran for school board. When I looked at the past people that have served, it was like, okay, how many have been here their entire life? I didn't see anybody. How many were educated in this school district? There wasn't anybody. And that really generated some interest, like, we need somebody that's lived here all your life and who has been educated in this school, whether it was Valley Springs or Brandon or a combination of both, which I was. Because I went from Brandon first, then I went to Valley for a couple years, and then we came back to Brandon. But, so that's what really drove me. And it just made things like I wanted to do it. And then Another thing I looked at is, okay, so many people live in town, but the agriculture sector isn't really represented on the school board. And so I thought, you know, the agriculture sector is one of the top paying, gives a lot of revenue to the school district. So I figured we need somebody, a spokesman in agriculture, to be on the board. And that's what really lit my fire that say, hey, we need somebody there. And the fact that my kids have went through the system, I like that. And also the fact that now I've got a granddaughter. It's, I mean, several years out yet, but you know, I want things that are better. Education is a fascinating deal. It's just growing all the time. This technology changes, and you want your school to have the cutting edge of education. And that's what I think we really need to do. We need to watch our budget, but yet get on that cutting edge, because that's how we make kids interested in the learning prospects. Thank you.
Okay. Dave, same question?
I was hoping that's a different question. I've just had a lot of experience on
Yep, you're good.
sitting on boards. It's a little bit unique because there's, and I fell into it when I first started working on boards a long time ago in committees, and you always were trying to micromanage, and that's not a way to do it. You work as a team, you have a leadership team, you got your board oversight, and then you hire a great management team that manages the facilities, the education. And so it's very important to be wise about everything and hear the input. And I just love talking to a kid and asking him and just getting down to his level, saying, what do you like? You know, it's amazing at some of the graduation parties I've attended. Like a middle school, you start talking to them, and oh my God, I mean, you start taking notes. You know, because they'll tell you. If they feel relaxed, they'll tell you. And I live over closer to Sioux Falls. In fact, I lived in the country, and now I can see Sioux Falls from my back door. I mean, it's growing around me. And so we're getting more and more of our attendance areas coming from the Sioux Falls. And there's a different mentality, because a lot of these people are coming in from bigger cities or someplace. And so, but they're moving here, they're moving in our district because of our schools. They really are. They know where. When we moved here in '95, we did research. We're looking Denver, Sioux Falls, and Minneapolis. And it was a school district that was number one. So we rented a house. First kid went to Valley Springs, the next one went to Brandon Elementary, and we just grew up. And it was so, and it was key was the people, it was the instructors, it was the teachers, it was the principals. And so excellence breeds excellence. And so I think with some of my knowledge from my working in different boards, you know, I can add value to our district, and got the time to do that, so.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on. Our next question is that, in your view, what has the district done very well over the past 5 years or so? And then what are a few areas where you feel we could use some improvement? And so I think that with that, we'll go down to the end and start with Adam Hunt.
I'll kind of give probably a little bit of a military answer here. What they've done is the mission. I think that it's been executed well, and they meet the mission statement. It's been very well run, and that's a credit to the district and a credit to the board, the current board, and things like that. So they've executed the mission very well. What maybe has the district done poorly, or things that you would change? I would tell you proactively managing growth. Mr. Odie alluded to it, Mr. Howard alluded to it on the Sioux Falls side, which is where I come from. It is a bit of an animal out there, but it's a big friendly animal, and how that folds into the district is something that I want to be a part of, and that I want to see that growth fold in, because I think that's where the future is, a chunk of the future, and it's only going to keep growing. It's only going to keep growing at a rapid pace, but just really proactively managing that growth. I think Harrisburg is a bit of a model in terms of they've had explosive growth. You know, when Superintendent Holdback decides to retire, he should get some sort of award for what he's done in terms of building a school every other year for a while there. Some of that same stuff is really not only coming, but is here already, and proactively managing that is an area to improve upon, in my opinion. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Adam. Let's move over to Greg. Same question, Greg. What are some of the things you think we've done really well at over the past 4 or 5 years, and what are some things you think that we could maybe stand some improvement on?
Okay, well, thank you. I guess what I would really say sort of is a shining star for this district is that it deals with the professionals that we have on board, especially like the superintendent and the business manager in that group. Our fiscal financial responsibility is second to none. I mean, that group, we manage our funds properly. I mean, it's where we can budget, we have enough money in the coffer, so when we want something like the addition to the middle school for the band or chorus, we have that money in the capital outlay program. So we can use it instead of go and borrow or have a bond issue. Same thing with the football facility out here. Those things. That's a good way of physically and sound financial management. And I guess looking at maybe a negative area would be that I think it's time to recognize that we need to be more aware of the drug and alcohol problems that are around us today. Because let's face it, folks, you look at Sioux Falls, they say the rates are rising in drug usage and alcohol and this stuff. That's going to precipitate, being we're next door neighbors to Sioux Falls, it's going to precipitate here. If it isn't, it is already here. We just need to be better. This is one area that I really think that we need to concentrate on so we can get these kids help or this community help to be better citizens for the years to come. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Greg. Let's move to Dave. And same question.
It's really hard to point out one thing the district has done well. There's been challenges. 10, 12 years ago, there were some challenges, but the right people stepped up and we addressed it. We built buildings, we hired staff, we were able to adjust, and of course, when enrollment rises, money rises, and we were able to manage that correctly, and it's always been that way. Honest God, I mean, the staff that we have it's phenomenal. It's just the attitude that we are caretakers of this stuff, our people's stuff, and we do the best we can. And I like the debates. I like the debates over the middle school computers. I'm one of those guys that if you say that we've always done it that way, I'll ask why, and is there a better way? And I think one of the things that is growing within our school districts, and I have friends in Sioux Falls and friends throughout the state, it's really not even the alcohol and drugs, it's more, I don't want to say bullying, but it's just more of a status thing within the school district. And I like to reach out to our leadership team in our district to say, what resources can we identify kids not in struggling or whatever their issues are. Maybe more, I don't know if it's counseling, but I know we can find smart people to help us figure out if we can, because we graduate smart kids. I mean, they do well, but there's a handful of kids that we could maybe help out and do something. And can we reach out and help those? So I just want to bring the smart guys in and let's talk about it and see if we can help, because it's there. It's there. You know, we don't want to look at it, but I think we owe it to it because it's the whole generation we're raising, just not the top 10%. So, thank you.
Okay, Dan, let's kind of do the same question. What are the things that you think that we've done particularly well at, and some areas where you think maybe we could stand some improvement?
Thank you. So I would say that thinking about the question, what has the district done well over the last 4 or 5 years, or since I've been here, that I've noticed, one, they hold the teachers and the students to a very high standard academically. And I also feel like Brandon Valley does a really good job with Link's spirit and community involvement. I went to a 5th grade choir concert last spring. It was 8:30 a.m. and parents could come watch if they wanted, and it was packed with parents. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like when there's something going on, when there's something happening, they're totally always, wanting to invite in the public, and the public comes. And so, like in big numbers. And so I think they do those two things really well. I'm not going to say that there's anything that the BV school district does poorly or bad. I would say that the three things that I think I could help and just improve or increase would focus on, one, technology. Putting a bunch of computers into a school doesn't mean learning is going to increase. It's how the technology is used. And that's a passion and a real skill set of mine, is using technology effectively for learning, not just as a substitute or babysitter. Second, school culture is an extremely important thing to me. And when it comes to school culture, that is students, it's staff, it's teachers, it's the support staff, administrators. Everyone needs to practice and model empathy on a daily basis. The more empathy that we have, the less bullying that happens. Empathetic kids don't bully. And the better school culture we can create, the better things are going to be. Kids are going to run to school rather than away from it, right? Okay. And then thirdly, I'm very passionate about school safety. In my opinion, the number one priority of a school is to keep our kids safe. That's above learning. It's school safety and then learning. And so those are the three areas that I'd really like to focus on and help with Brandon Valley School District. Thank you.
Okay. Stacy, same question.
Well, pardon me. We didn't become the best district in the state for no reason. We certainly do not pick something that is not broken. Our school board, administration, staff are top notch. They're the best in the state. Also, I feel that we have the best business manager in the state of South Dakota. I don't think Paul Lundberg and his staff gets enough credit. The way that he can analyze growth and get the most bang for our buck is extraordinary to me. I watch it every year, and it amazes me what his staff and what he does for us. I think our leaders also are doing a very good job of getting top-notch teachers coming into the district. We have the best in the state, and I think they're doing a great job doing that. One thing I think we could do better at is just listening to our teachers when they have an issue, listening to staff when they have an issue, listening to students. There's a lot of students that they would be happy to come to a school board meeting and tell you exactly how things are going on at the high school. We just got to be able to let them have the opportunity to do that. Another issue of mine was always classroom size, but it looks like I've been kind of reading the numbers with what Paul put out. It looks like they're addressing that in this budget, so I was quite happy to see that. So thanks.
Okay, let's go back, and our third question, we'll go back over here to Greg and start there. And Greg, the third question is a little bit like the last one. What would you say are our 2 or 3 biggest challenges or our biggest priorities, or need to be our biggest priorities as we move forward through the next school year?
Okay. I think probably number 1 would be let's keep ahead of the school enrollment. As we see the school enrollment keep growing, we need to start evaluating where do we need to put a school, if we need to put a school. But like if one school is full and another one is, I'll just say soft, in other words, short kids, let's rearrange boundaries a little bit so we can keep these facilities full at capacity so they're most efficient. But then when it comes time, make sure you put in place a school in the most proper and efficient place so it can be used to the fullest. A second area would be, I think it'd be really good if we could be proactive in dealing with the fact that Brandon area is a bedroom community, and we butt up with Sioux Falls, so we have this multicultural aspect where we need to be able to communicate with these people that come in from Latin America, Africa, and be able to make sure that our assignments get taken home, and because they probably speak one language and they don't know English, so it's like we need to be able, that information gets back home, and from home it gets sent back to school in the proper manner. And also I think a new program is this past year we put up a program for mental health in our school system. It's not for everybody, it's for a very few select group of people. And what it is, it takes that kid out of a room and sort of educates it on his own. What we do is we're obtaining stability so that these kids can do a just job and we can get them educated properly. Fact is, we need parents or guardians or whatever, we need more stability so we do not have these type of problems. So those are my three. Thank you.
Okay. Dave, same question, 2 or 3 top priorities.
I think I touched on one about the culture, or the culture. It's not, you know, we all grew up in schools that had bullies and we had issues. And I just don't know if it's just social media or the availability of mind-altering substances available, but it just compounds the issue. And I don't think we have a problem, but I think it could be if we're not addressing it. So I don't know if that's budgetary. There's got to be, we don't want to reinvent the wheel. Someone's figured this out to bring in the school district how to address this, and I think it's something we could focus on. Security. I mean, I haven't researched, but I think we keep our doors locked and we got to get buzzed in. But I think part of that security, and fellow military people know that, you do risk assessments. You see where the risks are. You know the potential. You know the issue. We have a great police force in this community. We have a great Minnehaha community or county police force that identify these things, and they're identified at home, or there's solutions. So I think if you see something, say something, that thing, it's just, you know, it seems like everything, when something happens, it says, well, I never thought he would have done it or she would have done it. And so I think that can be tied in with that other issue that I discussed earlier. Priorities, you know, it's expansion, it's proper use of the money, it's building ahead of the enrollment. I read something about Sioux Falls. They've got some issues, and it was just our district, the leaders have always been very good at standing up and saying we need to build a school today for 2 years from now, and that's always been a great thing, and having the wherewithal to do that. And I think we just continue on that road and we'll be just fine.
Thanks, Dave. We'll move over to Dan Klumper. Same question, 2 or 3 top priorities.
Okay, thank you. So I think we can all agree that the #1 priority for any school district is to keep the kids safe. Parents every morning send their precious children to school, and they want to make sure that they are going to a place where they are totally safe. And with the climate that is perhaps developing in the United States with this school violence and school shootings, that man, we just really have to focus and make sure that there's no doubt, like we know for sure, and parents are confident that their kid is totally safe while they're at school. Priority #1, hands down. And to go along with that, priority 1 would be 1A, which is a way to do that, and that is to increase empathy. Sometimes I feel like we're in Brandon, we're in our kind of own world, and I really truly believe we need to broaden our horizons and broaden our experiences and kind of get out of our bubble at times and see what else is going on around the world and develop empathy with our students. And so I think that would be an extremely important priority for BV in any school district, for that matter, to increase empathy and to teach it, model it, do activities, do role playing, read books that encourage empathetic thinking and behavior. I think there's lots of priorities when it comes to education because it's such a complex thing. But my 2 biggest ones would be school safety and school culture. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Dan. We'll move over to Stacy.
All right. Agree with Dan. My #1 priority is school safety. We got to make sure that no kid goes to school afraid. They should never, ever have to be afraid to walk in their building any time, ever. Had a very interesting conversation with Brandon Valley Police Department about this. We talked many hours in my garage over school safety and things like that. And Sergeant Nelson's telling me that a couple weeks last spring they had the panic button go off at Robert Bennis, It took the Brandon Police 90 seconds to get to our Robert Bennis. So I think that our police and our school resource officers are doing everything that they possibly can, but it can always, we are not in a bubble. It can happen here, and we just have to make sure that we are prepared. God forbid it won't, but you have to be prepared that it is going to happen here, and I just want to make sure that kids always feel safe being in their schools. Another priority of mine is our growth in Brandon. Growth is great, but it also comes with a whole new set of problems. A lot of people have asked me my opinion on when do you think Brandon will become a two high school city? I hope it never does. In a perfect world, that will not happen. I would like to maintain on one high school as long as possible. This is what makes this district so tight. You go to school, at the beginning of school, it's kindergarten, the Lakes, and I want to make sure that everyone graduates as the Lakes. And I know that we're landlocked at the high school, I understand that. Hopefully with the turf coming in and the Dairy Queen building, that we will maybe alleviate that a little bit. But my sister from Ankeny, Iowa, they just split it into 2 schools about 3 years ago, and it completely split their town. So I am not in favor of that. I'd like to explore every other option before doing that. And technology, real quick. I've been out over at the intermediate school. Mr. Mueller is doing an excellent job with that STEM lab. I'd like to continue the STEM lab in all areas of our curriculum. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. And Adam Pump, same question.
Yeah, pretty similar. Safety and security is paramount. Obviously, we've all read headlines last year. We've even probably received some of those emails, albeit nothing major has come from it in Brandon here, but same thing. There's a culture that can be built up, an education that takes place. We do a lot of active shooter exercises out at the base. There's an education piece that we can partner with our community, our police force, Minnehaha County, Sioux Falls Police Department, Brandon Police Department here in town, and safety and security is paramount. And the district has done something right. We've had this, but just to stay ahead of that evolving risk and of that, to ensure that our students are safe, students and teachers are safe every day. Number 2, managing growth. I'm kind of hitting on that a lot. It is growing. It's going to continue to grow. I agree with Stacy. Ideally, if it's not a 2 high school district, I don't think that's ideal. I think Brandon has done a great job of maintaining that small town feel, yet being a bigger district. And that's a hard balance to strike. And we want to keep striking that balance all the way through. Just finding out where those places are to put those schools, the best efficient use of our resources, land, and things like that are my top 2 priorities.
Okay. Thank you. We have had a couple questions turned in, and I think we'll start, Dan, with you. The first question for all of you will be if and when you find an area in our district that you believe needs to be changed or improved, but you know it's unpopular, what will you do? Good luck.
Okay, thank you for that question. I think it's a great question, and I will try to provide an answer that makes sense. So my guiding light, with my status as a professional educator, is what's best for the students and what's best for student learning. So I'll take the question, whatever the area is, talk to whoever I need to talk to get a really good feel for what's going on, and then I would encourage a solution or an answer based on what's best for the situation and what's best for the students, student learning, and I'd go from there. So thank you.
Okay, Stacy Long.
Can you repeat the question, please?
The question is, if and when you find an area in our district that you believe needs to be changed or improved, but you know it's going to be unpopular, what will you do?
Well, the first thing I do is research whatever that they need me to research. I would find out all the answers to people's questions. that means going to Dr. Larson, Mr. Thorson, Mr. Skipstead. You need to find the answers to people's questions. I think part of being a leader is you're not popular all the time. You sometimes have to make decisions that people don't agree with, and you just have to have enough backbone and research behind you that to explain to people that you are looking out for the best interest of Grand Valley students.
Okay, thanks, Stacy. Adam?
Yeah, I think that, we live in a really polarizing climate right now, and there's going to be decisions that are made by boards, by councils that aren't popular, that we all have to accept, that are part of the greater good and part of the greater whole. Serving as long as I've served, core values, integrity, although unpopular, you just got to keep what's best for the district in mind at all times. And that's not self-serving, that's what is changing or improving the district, as the question read. It's unpopular, but this is why we did what we did. And then being totally transparent and being open and honest with the constituents, saying, hey, this is why we did what we did, this is our rationale behind it, and we have the district's best interests at heart when we made the decisions that we did. So I think really just absolutely without a doubt being honest, serving with integrity, and serving the district's students and employees the best that you can, no matter how unpopular or popular it is. That's what I do.
Okay, thanks, Adam. We'll move over to Greg.
Well, I think first, kids are the number one thing you have to look out for. You say, what are we here for? What is the school member really working for? And it's the kids. And so you have to take a view, step back and view that group or where this issue is, whatever this issue is, and say, what is best for the kids? And after you've come up with that, and you've gone and done your research, and you've gone to like Dr. Larson and whatever, and the other administration, I think you have to sit down and make your own consensus. What is best for the kids is what's going to be your outcome, and that's what I am. I'm a listener, and I'm passionate about education, so I feel that that's my strong points. I'll listen, and then I'll make up my mind what's best for that district, or what's best for that solution. So that's where I would come from.
Okay, thanks, Greg. Dave?
In this form of how to manage a project, you have a board, you have a leadership team, and you have a lot of smart people, a lot of people from different backgrounds. So whatever the issue is, first of all, you've got to be open to listen and ask questions and gain as much information. You weigh heavily on the professionals that you've hired because of their professionalism, and you get the input. And then you get the input from the people in the community. And you said as a board, you don't have to make that decision on your own, but if you're passionate about something and your values say that, then you push that point and whatever that outcome is, and then you get behind it and you support it. There's always going to be somebody out there that's going to disagree with whatever's going to happen. There always will be. But you look at the positive of what your mission is. It's education with safety and with fiscal responsibility. And so if your feelings hurt, you don't need to be sitting on this board, because you will get your feelings hurt. Any leader at any position is going to get your feelings hurt. And most of us, it sounds like we've all had that experience to do that. So I think it's just a great opportunity to excel. So thank you.
Okay, good. Next question is, some have mentioned district growth. What is your vision for addressing our high school capacity? Expand current building, divide into a fresh south or junior senior, or divide into two high schools? And I think for now, let's go over to Adam Punt.
Yeah, I would work to keep the district at a one high school district with all means necessary. I think it is best suited for a one district high school. It's going to continue to grow, there's no doubt about it. that means expansion of our current facility, or if that means a freshman academy, or a single grade, shredding that out. I think doing it as a single high school district is ideal right now. And I say that in June of 2018. I think a lot of people liken, we get sports-minded easily. I think we need to explore the possibility that if the road does come and we have to address a dual high school district, of having single activities, if that's the case, if that's what we want to do. I just think we have to think outside the box, that if it does come to that, and if our growth does get to that point, that there's some different things that can be done with that. But from a facility standpoint, I would tell you right now, yeah, let's try to keep it within a one high school district to the greatest extent that we can, until the growth gets to that point where we have some limitations. So, thanks.
Okay, thanks. We'll move over to Greg.
Okay, it was just a couple years ago that we put together, I was on the building task force, and it met, and we had a lot of leaders throughout the community come in, and we met several times. And what we came out of that was, one of the issues was, we want to maintain ourselves as a one-school, high school system. And that was really strongly suggested. And I believe that too. As far as being landlocked, yeah, we're sort of landlocked. But I think with the view from other, I mean, we've got opportunities to expand this facility, which we would probably take this south wing and flip over into this parking lot here to give us more room. And then if that comes to capacity where you're full, maybe it's time to decide, okay, do we have a junior, senior building and a freshman, sophomore building, which to me sets up to be a pretty good deal. You can keep these kids sort of in their groups and keep them in their peers. And I feel that we've got room someplace else, whether it be close or not, but I feel that we do have the land that we could accommodate that type of a situation. And because we want to keep, this community is really tight knit. They all support the Brandon Valley Lynx. They all support Brandon and Valley and Corson and Rowena and North Cliff area and Renner and whatever. I mean, they're tight knit people, and we want to do what's best for the community. So I say we stick with one, and we'll cross that road when it comes, but I think we should be good.
Okay, thank you. Dave Howard.
3 times in a row, I've pressed the button. Wow. Here's where we gain what I just talked about, you know. Let's think outside of the box. Let's use some imagination. I hear landlocked, and I see a lot of land. You know, well, we got a lot of parking lot. Well, there's ways to work around that. You take over the Dairy Cream. I mean, you use imagination. You invite people, the educators out there. Tell us how you manage a 2,000-3,000 person high school. I mean, to me, it's more a people management idea. Buildings, you can build them real big. But maybe a freshman wing or a freshman academy or something. There's so many opportunities. The one high school, I think we can stay there. But, you know, that darn Sioux Falls, we've got a lot of Sioux Falls in this district, and we're going to get even more, you know. So if we can make that statement today for the next 15 years, I think that's important. Because just like Sioux Falls now is backed into having to build a high school, and where that's going to be at, that might become an issue in that southeast or southwest portion of the district. But if we can make a statement within the planning committees in the next 2 or 3 years that this is our vision, this is how we're going to do that, I think it makes people at ease. So when you build the house, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're buying into. That there is going to be another high school in the southwest portion of the district to service those people. So I agree. One high school, just got to think how we're going to do that smartly.
Okay, thanks. We'll move over to Dan Klumper.
Okay, thank you. So I guess I would echo a little bit so far what's been shared for this question with the one high school. I think that's a really good setup. I also think that this is a topic that I would look forward to getting a little bit more immersed into myself and increasing my knowledge of the topic to make sure when I do recommend an answer or a solution or a piece of advice, it is sound based on like research and educational research, and always harkening back to my philosophy of what's best for students. So I don't know, it kind of ties into earlier with unpopular decisions. So with this question, there would probably be unpopular decisions and popular decisions. And so it would take a real critical analytical look and putting it through the lens of what's best for students, what's best for teachers, what's best for learning, what's best for the district. So it would be a fun topic to really dive into. So thank you.
Okay, Stacy Long.
Okay, like I said before, I am a real proponent of a one-school city. I think going to a two-high school city would be hopefully the very last of our options. I think, like Dave said, there's different things we can do out there. I would not be opposed to a freshman academy. I would not be opposed to freshmen and sophomores together. I know the high school does a very good job right now of trying to separate those ninth graders from the seniors, because the ninth grader mentality is way different than the senior mentality. And I know that Dr. Talcott does a very good job of trying to keep them separated. So, you know, freshman academy, something to look at. I think there's a lot of different options on the table, but I hope that one of the options would not be a two-high school city, and I don't think we're there yet. Greg would probably be able to answer that question better than I am, but I don't think we're there yet. But I think there would have to be a lot of research and a lot of collaboration with people to figure out exactly what our options would be for that. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. We are approaching the 7:30 hour, so we do want to give each candidate an opportunity to take a minute or two with some closing thoughts. And so we'll just start back over to my right with Greg Odie.
Okay, I guess I would like to thank the Journal and the Chamber of Commerce, as well as you folks out here tonight that took time to come out and listen to the five of us give our views and different ideas as far as how some issues would be run differently in the school system. Why should Brandon Valley vote for me? I guess Brandon Valley residents vote for me. I guess I'll let you know I'm passionate, I'm open-minded, and I'm a listener. I'm a real good listener because and then I do a lot of thinking and everything. But I guess I've enjoyed serving the district for the last 12 years, and I would appreciate another 3-year term to keep doing what I'd like to do, because I just love the fact of seeing how education has changed from the years I was in it to now. And believe me, it's just remarkable how fast things are changing, and the different types of things that they're using in the classroom to stimulate active growth and all that for the kids. So again, thank you for this evening, and that's it. Thank you.
Okay, Dave Howard.
Thank you to the Journal and the Chamber of Commerce, and especially for the citizens that came out to be involved, and the viewing audience. Thank you for the time to hear us out, to pick our brains, to figure out we want the very best in this district. And I think we, for many years, have had the right people at the right time on these boards. I've taken advantage for the last 20 plus years of taking from this district and taking from these great educators. And I think it comes to a time that it's time to give it back. But to do that, you have to have the time and the wherewithal and the knowledge. Certain times in their life, you've had enough knowledge, experiences, listened enough, or seen enough scrapes, and I've done that. Sitting on a utility board right now, with water, and that's a major concern in this community. And so you can work through issues as a team, as a board, hire the correct people, choose the right leadership team, and everything's possible. Because change is going to happen. That's for darn sure. And so how we address those changes and actually address the changes sometimes. Some people don't address the change. Let's address the change. Let's hit it full on and just put a positive point on it and just get the job done. Again, thank you so much. Come out and vote for me. I'll work tirelessly for y'all. And remember, it's June 19th. Thanks.
Okay, Dan Klumper.
I want to thank the Chamber and the Journal for having this forum. I've never been a part of a forum before, and I thought it was a lot of fun. I also want to thank those of you who came in person and those watching. I think it's great to have so much support and community interest and involvement when it comes to education, which is a pretty big deal when we're talking about a community in a town and city.